Have you ever worn something that held the weight of your past? As my wife adjusted her necklace, something she hadn't touched in over a year, I knew this night would change everything. We were sitting across from each other at our favorite restaurant, a place where we used to go when we still laughed without effort. When a simple touch across the table meant something. She looked beautiful, always did, hair pulled back just enough to show off the necklace, a small, delicate silver chain with a charm she hadn't worn since the night everything fell apart. I never asked her why she stopped wearing it. Just like I never asked her about the night she came home late, smelling like a mix of cologne and wine, her eyes darting everywhere but at me. You learn not to ask certain questions when you're afraid of the answers. That necklace. I bought it for my wife, Jenny, 2 years ago on our anniversary. A symbol, I thought, to remind her, my soulmate, of how far we'd come. But something changed after that night. Her distance. Her energy. Her guilt. Maybe I'd buried it. Tried to. But tonight, seeing that necklace again, I couldn't ignore it anymore. She smiled. Asked if I liked the dress. If I was happy to be out, I nodded. But my eyes stayed locked on that necklace. Funny choice, I said, keeping my tone flat. She blinked. The necklace. You haven't worn it in over a year. She looked down like she hadn't even realized she'd put it on. Then she laughed. A soft, nervous sound. It just felt right tonight. Felt right? I nodded again. Took a sip of water. And that's when I decided. If she could pretend nothing happened, so could I. But only for the rest of the night. Because I was done pretending after this. Rewind to last year. She started working late more often. Not the usual late. Unreachable, unavailable, emotionally vacant kind of late. When she did come home, she was tired, irritable, not in the mood. I made excuses for her, stress, deadlines, hormones. Everything except the one thing I was too afraid to admit. She was emotionally somewhere else. I noticed that her phone was always face down, notifications silenced. She started guarding her phone as if it held state secrets. One night, I saw a name flash across the screen. Kevin, when she left it on the kitchen counter. A name I didn't recognize. Just a coworker, she said, but I've been a man long enough to know when something's off. I never confronted her, not directly. I told myself I'd wait. Maybe she would come back to me on her own. Perhaps it was just a phase. But deep down, I knew the truth. Someone else had my place. Maybe not in name, but in energy. She had stopped reaching for me in bed. Stopped laughing at my jokes. Stopped noticing when I stopped trying. So tonight, after dessert, she leaned in. Told me how good it felt to reconnect. That we had been off lately. But maybe this was a fresh start. I stared at her. At the necklace. I remember the last time you wore that, I said. She tilted her head. Anniversary dinner. You said you felt lucky to have me. You cried. Told me I made you feel safe. She swallowed hard. I meant it, she whispered. Did you still mean it 2 weeks later when you met up with him? Kevin, that is his name, correct? I asked. She froze. I kept my voice low. I didn't check your phone. Didn't follow you, but I knew. I could feel it. In the way you looked at me like I was a chore. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't sleep with him, she said quickly. I nodded. Maybe not, but you gave him parts of you that were mine. Your thoughts, your time, your laughter. I was lost, she said. I didn't know how to say I was unhappy. So you found someone who made you feel seen, she nodded. I leaned in. You know what's crazy? I forgave you. Before you even admitted anything. I waited a year, hoping you'd come clean. Hoping you'd remember who I was to you. She reached for my hand. I pulled back. You wearing that necklace tonight didn't mean you were healing. It meant you wanted to feel a sense of nostalgia. Safe. Like we could go back. She was crying now. Please don't do this, she whispered. But I was already standing. I'm not angry. Not anymore. I just can't be married to someone who only remembers my worth after she has been with someone else. I placed a small envelope on the table. Inside was the receipt for the necklace. Dated. Proof of what once was. I want you to keep it, I said. So the next time you wear that necklace, you'll remember not the night I bought it, but the night you lost me, your husband. And then I walked out. That was 6 months ago. I've started dating again. Slowly. Still carry scars, sure. But I also have emotional clarity. I tried reaching out. Texts, emails, even called my sister. Said she wanted to talk. But some situations don't need closure. Some endings speak for themselves. No required conversation. She wore the necklace to feel close to the past. But I left because I finally understood my self-worth, and that some things are beautiful, until they're reminders of what hurt you the most. And I refuse to wear pain as jewelry.